Good morning everyone and welcome to this new video. So, I really hope you liked my last video about tiramisu. It seems like you're really enjoying it and I'm really happy about it because I think it's the most loved and best dessert ever. Today though, we're gonna make something even more yummy. We're gonna talk about chocolate. And what can we do with chocolate? A beautiful and yummy dark chocolate ganache. But you know what? It isn't over, because with the same recipe we're gonna end up having 3 different products with 3 different textures and structures. We are in fact making a pouring dark chocolate ganache that can be used, to glaze a cake, a whipped dark chocolate ganache that can be used to fill an eclair or to fill a brioche, and finally we're gonna make a spreadable dark chocolate ganache. Basically, with the same recipe, waiting different amount of hours and having different temperatures, we end up having 3 different products. The ganache is a French cream. It was born in France from a mistake of an apprentice chef who basically dropped some hot milk in a dark chocolate bowl. His head pastry chef called him Ganache, which in French means fool, for the mistake, but the apprentice chef kept mixing to try to solve something of that mistake, basically creating the first ganache ever. The ganache can be made with milk, whipping cream, butter. There's many different versions of it. You could even think to add some alcohol in it, just like rum or whiskey or cognac, anything like this. It can be made with milk chocolate, dark chocolate and white chocolate. The recipes obviously changes every time you change chocolate. Basically, we are emulsifying products containing different percentages of fats. Anyway guys, so enough with the explanation, let's start cooking the ganache. The first ingredient we're gonna use for this ganache is of course the chocolate. So I'm using a 75% chocolate, and you can choose to partially melt it or use it still solid but finely chopped. That's really important, guys. The second ingredient for this ganache is the cream. So whipping cream or heavy cream, make sure it has at least 35% of fats. I'm gonna pour my cream inside a bowl like this, and we're gonna put it on a low to medium heat. We gotta reach 85 degrees, maximum 92 degrees. It doesn't have to boil. Finally, we got one last ingredient, the butter. The butter is optional, you don't have to use it, but it helps with the emulsion and gives you an even more shiny texture at the end of the ganache. So I recommend using it. Once you've got your chocolate partially melted, put your cream on the low to medium heat and warm it up until 92 degrees. Doesn't have to boil, remember. Keep stirring so it doesn't burn. Once your cream is ready, you have to pour it on top of your chocolate in 3 times. So pour the first third and start stirring from the center to the edges. Then pour the second part and keep stirring. And pour the third part. Once your ganache comes back together and it looks shiny, it's not over yet. We've got an emulsion, but it's not stable. So grab a hand mixer and start mixing the ganache to stabilize the emulsion. Mix for at least 30 to 45 seconds and your ganache is ready. Okay guys, our ganache is ready. Shiny, beautiful. That smells really good. Now, this is still hot, so we need to let the temperature drop. The ganache doesn't go inside the fridge, so just cover it with a wrap and let it sit at room temperature until the temperature drops down. Once the temperature drops, I will show you how to whip the ganache to have a whipped ganache. So let's wait for the temperature to drop and I'll see you in a few hours, guys. So guys, while we wait for our ganache to chill down, I want to show you the other ganache I made yesterday. The same recipe, same everything, but it has been sitting down at room temperature for more than 15 hours. If you let the ganache rest from 15 to 24 hours, you will have a perfect spreadable ganache. Let me show you. As you can see, it's a bit tough, but at the same time it's soft. It looks like Nutella, guys, but it's just cream, chocolate and butter. for those of you who want to use it. See? Perfectly spreadable. You can decide to use this spreadable ganache in many different ways. For example, you can spread it on a piece of bread and eat it like this. You can put it on a muffin. I mean, you can really do whatever you want to do with it. Treat it as a spreadable cream. So let's taste it. And I mean, the flavor doesn't change much. The whipped one will be a bit different because it incorporates some air. But the texture changes a lot. So this one, yeah, pretty much like Nutella. Texture is pretty much the same. It's a bit tougher than Nutella, of course. And even though it's not really smooth when you look at it, once you eat it, it melts straight away. Okay guys, once the ganache is ready, start whisking it. We're gonna make a whipped ganache. Once your ganache is whipped, it should look like this more or less. It's a bit less shiny, it's full of air inside, it's fluffy. Once you've whipped your ganache cream, you can decide to use it as a filling for a cake or for an eclair or for a brioche or anything that needs a filling. Or you can decorate your dessert using a piping bag. While it's still hot instead, you can use it to glaze a cake or to glaze an eclair. I mean, as a glaze in general, it's really nice. Or for example, if you have to make a sugar cake, that ganache is perfect. Keep in mind that you might want to increase the amount of cream to make it more liquid. So I'd say now it's time to taste our ganache. In this case, our whipped ganache. So let me try it. It has a really strong flavor of chocolate because I've used a 75% chocolate. So it's really, the flavor is really dark. It's really smooth. There's a bit of air and you can feel it, because the more air you add to your product, the more the flavor decreases. So if you taste it while it's still hot, it has an even darker flavor. Guys, I think this recipe is a huge success. That ganache is really good. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. As usual, I ask you to share with your friends, leave a comment and a like. Follow me on Instagram at MancioFitChef, subscribe to my channel, and above all, turn on the notification because every week there will be new fantastic videos. So guys, my Ganache and I say bye.